Look at this addition sentence. 50 plus 20 equals blank. What is the total? What can help you figure out the total? We can look at the first digit or the tens place digit and see that we have a 5 in the tens place on the first number and a 2 in the tens place on the second number. The 0 sometimes mixes us up, but I can look at the 5 and add the 2, and I know that 5 plus 2 is 7. So I can look at my numbers, 50 and 20, and I can see very easily that since 5 plus 2 equals 7, then 50 plus 20 would equal 70. So 5 plus 2 is 7, and 50 plus 20 equals 70. Let's look at the next one. What about this number? 60 plus 10. Well, I know that 6 plus 1 is 7. So then I just have to add the 0 to the end, because I'm not really needing to add anything in the ones place because 0 plus 0 is 0. Let's look at another one. 40 plus 30. Well, again, I know that 4 plus 3 equals 7, and 0 plus 0, I just need to bring that over. It's still 0. Let's look at some more. On this one, I still see I still see a 4 in the tens place and a 2 in the tens place on the second number, but this time I see a 3 in the ones place for 43. I'm still going to stick with my idea of just doing the tens. So 40 plus 20, so 4 plus 3 equals 6. And then 3 plus 0, well, if I have 3 cookies and I don't get any more cookies, then I still just have 3 cookies. So it's 63. Let's look at another. Now we have 67 plus 30. Again, we're just going to look at the tens place. So 6 plus 3 is 9. And then I have a 7 in the ones place on 67 and a 0 in the ones place on 30. So I'm just going to bring my 7 over because I'm not adding anything to it. This is a 0. Let's do a couple more. Now I have 72 plus 10. So 7 plus 1 is 8. And then 2 plus 0 is 2. What about this one? 3 plus 3 is 6. And 5 plus 0 is 5. Are you noticing how important it is for place value to be remembered? I wonder why Miss Bailey spent so many weeks on that. It kind of makes sense now, doesn't it? Let's look at this one. Uh-oh. I see a 0 in the ones place on the number 20, but now the number 64 is on the right side and it has it has a 4 in the ones place. So that could be confusing, except for that I remember that Miss Bailey said that we only add the tens first and then we add the ones. So 2 plus 6 equals 8. And 0 plus 4 equals 4. Just a couple more. 10 plus 53. 1 plus 5 equals 6. 3 plus 0 equals 3. Let's look at this one. 46 plus 10. You try that one on your own. You can pause the video if you need extra time. What about this one? 20 plus 76. Try that one on your own. Pause the video if you need time. And the last one, 41 plus 30. Again, you can pause the video. So now let's look at our next slide that we need to go to. Extending the count-on strategy to two-digit numbers. So we're going to add using the count-on strategy, just like we did yesterday. Look at this chart. Loop or circle a number between 13 and 18. Well, here's my number 13. And here is my number 18. So the directions say to loop a number between these two numbers. So I could loop any of these numbers because they're all between 13 and 18. I could loop 14, 15, 16, or 17. Can I loop 18? Nope, because that's not between the numbers. Can I loop 13? No, it's not between the numbers. Think about the number of tens and ones in your number. So I'm just going to loop one just so I have the number. I like the number 16. How many tens are in the number 16? Well, if I drew it out with place value blocks, I would have one set of 10. So here's my stick of 10. And then how many ones would I have? 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is really hard to draw on these computers. Sorry, but they're not pretty circles this time. So I have a 1 in the tens place and a 6 in the ones place. What happens to the tens when you move right on the chart? So if I go from here, number 16, and I move to the right, what happens to the tens place when I move one place to the right? Nothing, right? It's still a 1 in the tens place. What happens to the ones place when I move one space to the right? So I went from 16 to 17. So here's my 16 drawn out. When I move to the right, I end up adding more in the ones place. So now I have to add another circle in my ones place. I'm going to switch to green so you can see it. So there's my 17 now. What happens to the tens when you move down on the chart? So if I were at 16 and I were to move down one space, what happens to my tens place? It gets bigger, doesn't it? I have to add another 10 stick. So now I'm going to add one more, and again, I'm going to leave it green so that it shows up differently. What happens to the ones place when you move down on the chart? On the number 16, I have a 6 in the ones place. If I move down to 26, does it change? No, it stays a 6. Let's look at our worksheet. On our worksheet, on the step up, our directions say, count on 1, 2, or 3 times and write the total. You can use the chart above to help you. So we have our chart right here. I have a feeling that they're going to make us think beyond this chart though, so let's keep that in mind. At some point, we're probably going to have to move beyond the chart. So let's look at letter A. 11 plus 2 equals blank. So I'm going to look at 11 and I'm going to jump 2 spaces because I'm adding 2. So 11 and then 1, 2 jumps, and my answer is 13. Let's look at letter B. Letter B says 3 plus 16. Well, I could start at 3, but that's a lot of jumps I'm going to have to do, is 16 jumps. And I remember the video yesterday said to start at the biggest number. So I'm going to use my turnaround fact, and I'm going to start at 16, and I'm just going to jump 3 times. So 16, and I'm going to jump 3. 1, 2, 3 jumps. Okay? Someone can also say 16 and then hold up a finger every time they jump. So 16, 17, 18, 19. So my answer is 19. I'm going to jump down to letter I because that one could be a little bit challenging for you. It says 1 plus 33. Well, I look on my number chart and I don't have a 33. So I'm going to have to think in my head, 33, if I count on one more time, what would that number be? So I want you to try to figure that out in your head. Same thing with letter H, 34 plus 3. Well, if I'm at 34 and I count 3 more jumps in my head, I could use my fingers and count 33, 34, 35, 36, and then write my number. You are going to continue the rest of these problems on your own whenever you get your worksheet. Let's look at number 2. It says write the total, then write the turnaround fact. So 14 plus 3, hey, guess what? I can still use this number chart up here for that problem. So 14 plus 3, I'm going to write the answer. And then just like yesterday, I have to write the turnaround fact. So remember, you're flipping the 2 numbers on each side of the addition symbol. This is the addition symbol, the plus sign. Okay? So for the turnaround fact, I have to write this backwards. So instead of 14 plus 3, I'm going to write 3 plus 14 down here. You're going to do that for all of these problems. Remember, you can use the number chart to help you. Let's look at the back side of your worksheet. Number 3 says count on 10 or 20 and write the total. You can use the chart to help. They're so helpful. They put another hundreds chart on here for us. So I'm going to count on by 10 or 20. So 43 plus 10. I'm going to show you a trick. Here's 43. I can count 10 jumps. Watch what happens when I do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hey, I noticed that when I stopped counting by 10, I was just one row below the number 43. I just jumped down 1. So just like when we did our tens and ones chart on the other side of the page, I can draw my tens and ones over here. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's my 40. Then I have 1, 2, 3. But when I jump down 1 more, guess what I'm doing? I'm just adding 1 more set of 10. So to do 43 plus 10 on a hundreds chart, I can just jump down 1 row. So 43 plus 10 is 53 because I'm just adding 1 more 10 to my 10 side. So 40 plus 10 is 50, and then I have 3. Let's look at letter B, 57 plus 20. So I'm at 57 right here, and I'm going to add 20. Well, I can count 20 jumps, but I remember that 57 plus 10 is just 1 square down, or 1 row down. So 57 plus 20 is just going to be 2 rows down. So I'm going to go down 2 rows. So 57, 1, 2 jumps down. So that's 2 sets of 10, which equals 20. So my number becomes 77. So 57 plus 20, 10, 20, is 77. You can continue to finish these using your hundreds chart if you need to. I would really encourage you to use the hundreds chart though. It's very helpful. Let's look at number 4. Count on to figure out the total, then write the turnaround fact. So this time we're doing the turnaround facts, but we are doing them with 2-digit numbers. So 46 plus 30. So again, I can look on my number chart, start at 46, and jump down 30. So this is 10, 20, 30. So then my answer is 76. And then this is a multi-step problem because now I have to write the turnaround fact for that. So 46 plus 30, I would turn that around and write 30 plus 46 down here. So you're going to do that on A, B, and C. Let's look at number 5. Count on to figure out these totals. Use turnarounds to help you. So again, you can use the number chart up here at the top to help you figure these out. 30 plus 45 equals blank. So we always start with the bigger number when we're using the hundreds chart, okay? So 45, and I'm going to jump down 30, 10, 20, 30, and then write my answer. It says you can use the turnaround fact if you need to help you. And so I feel like they've written all of these with the bigger number second so that you have to use the turnaround fact. In fact, if I look at it, I can underline the biggest number on all of these. And remember that good mathematicians make notes for themselves. So I'm going to underline the bigger number on all of these problems. And look at this. Miss Bailey's theory was right. This biggest number is the second number every time. They want you to start with the biggest number on the number chart when you're counting on. Okay, so keep that in mind when you do number 5. All right, let's look at the very bottom. This is your step ahead. It says use the chart above to help you. Lucy has 4 dimes and 6 pennies. Emilio has 23 pennies and 2 dimes. Manna has 1 dime and 38 pennies. Who has the most money? I'm going to tell you that this is a bonus question, okay? Because we have not covered money yet. So if you get this one right, I'll give you 5 extra points. If you get it wrong, I won't take anything off. But I want you to at least try. Remember that dimes are worth 10 cents. Pennies are worth 1. So let's see if you can figure this problem out. If you have any questions, please